Yes, and with that, welcome into Foxborough Rush. Travis Thomas here. Jade McCarthy in her debut
What's
show.
What's up, Travis?
Welcome,
How
Jade.
are you?
It's so good I'm great. It's good to have you. You and I have just met. I got a chance to see your great legendary husband, Gordy, save the day. It's all good, Jade.
Right? I mean, when in doubt with audio, babe, can you help me, please?
Hey, he got the results. Gordy, like the great Gordie Howe, he got the results. You got to love to see it. Let's look, of course, we're going to get into everything Patriots in this entire show. This is our audience's first time seeing us together. Let's play a little getting to know you here off the top. I know you from your time at ESPN. Are you from the area? Just catch us up. Give us your life story. No pressure.
My life story, 15 seconds. Here we go. Worked at Nesson before I went to ESPN. Grew up in Newton, Mass. So, all the New England things, if you will. You can take a girl out of Boston, but you can't take the Boston out of the girl, I think this expression goes, Travis. And
awesome.
Live north of Boston now. Got a couple kids. Got a great husband who knows how to fix technical issues on the computer. And here we go. Foxborough Rush.
I love it. All right, so let's get into it. Obviously, straight beatdown of the Commanders from the Patriots on Tom Brady statue night, nonetheless. So we'll get to Brady later in the show. Let's focus on the game right now. Kind of quick bullet point takeaways. What did you see from this game that you loved? Obviously, they won the game. Everything was good, wasn't it, Jade?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think all things considered, Travis, you got a new head coach in Mike Vrabel. You got Josh McDaniels back as the OC running the offense there. This was the kind of effort that you wanted to see from this Patriots team. It's a new regime. You wanted them to go out there. You wanted them to get off to a good start. Maybe there's definitely, let me just say, 100% room for improvement. Yes. But this is the start that you wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's well said. It is the first preseason game, so it's not a perfect game by any sense. 48-18, the final score there. They beat the hell out of the Commanders. Lots of good to take away. But I do want to touch on what you said that I noticed too. There was almost a sense of urgency, if you will, from this Patriots team. And I was impressed with that because it almost felt as though Mike Vrabel's debut as a coach for the Patriots was like an afterthought. It was all about Brady's statue. And listen, I said this earlier. I saw people around town, Jade, like all day that day on Friday in Tom Brady jerseys. It was hot as hell here in Boston. And I saw someone walking a dog with a Tom Brady jersey on it. I'm like, it's too damn hot. But that was that's case in point, where it's Brady night, and look, if they had gone out there and laid an egg against the Commanders, then we almost have a built-in excuse of like, well, this was about Brady. No, credit to Vrabel. Credit to these players, Jade. They came out with their hair on fire in that first preseason game. There was a sense of urgency. I was encouraged to see that, were you?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I don't think that there is any doubt, Travis, that there was no way Mike Vrabel was going to have this team go out and lay a dud. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, he has come in and worked too hard to put his stamp on this team, and we've heard him talk about it, right? Effort, finish, consistency, effort, finish, consistency. Like, that was what he's been preaching, and that's what he expected from his players. So to go out there and not have any effort or finish or consistency, I just don't think was going to happen in preseason game one.
Amen. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth himself. Here's Mike Vrabel after his Patriots head coaching debut and getting a dub with the Pats. Take a listen.
Well, I think that was one of the phases that we talked that was going to be so critical, and it's hard to really rep full speed. And we got a few of them against Washington, and I think we saw some things that we can improve on, and that's exactly what we did. And I think Trayveon read it out and hit the hole, and everybody else blocked and finished and did all those good things. So it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's exciting anytime that you can. We talk about how critical a phase of the game is going to be, and to come out here and be able to work on it.
Mike, it looked like Efton Chisholm got off to a good start tonight. What did you see from him that maybe stood out?
Well, I think his play strength stood out to me. From the sideline, I think the way that he blocks and his ability to catch the ball in traffic. The ball was basically tipped or bobbled. Coming out of Ben's hand and kind of ran through a tackle and ran through contact, and then we threw him the screen. So those are all positive things. I think his play strength to me is what stood out.
And Roach in the back.
Mike, just thought on Drake's performance, and I'm sure the turnover probably annoyed you with what he did.
Are you asking and answering a
Just
question
no,
at
your
the
thoughts.
same time? Is that what you're doing?
I got you. Your thoughts.
I would say you about summed it up. That's a bad decision. I think we're going to need better from him, and I think he knows that, and that's obvious. So, wasn't there, and we just have to be able to find a way to get rid of the football or take a sack and punt and play defense. But to the defense's credit, they forced a field goal. I think that was missed maybe, but they got a couple. It was a sudden change opportunity.
Right over here, Mike. DJ James continues to have a solid summer. Just your impression of him and the interception tonight, and then the work he continues to do for you.
I think that it's always exciting to see players that take advantage of opportunities. And since DJ was one of the players that was here for rookie minicamp, and I would say that since that day and that weekend, he's continued to improve, and I think he's taken advantage of that. And so I'm always for players that get better, take coaching. It's on them, obviously, to improve, and so that's all to DJ's credit. And so I'm excited for him that he can put it into work and then start to see it translate onto the field.
Jade, I absolutely love this guy, Mike Vrabel. I mean, honestly, I was at the joint practice last week, Commanders Patriots, and this dude, every time there's a kerfuffle, every time there's a squabble, Vrabel was in the middle of it. At one point,
He was a little bloody.
Yes, he's at the bottom of the pile, Jade. He emerges with blood from his streak. And I said, you know what? That's the blood of a man that's a leader right there. Jade, I can only imagine as someone, growing up watching this dude play for the Patriots, this has to be like some sort of dream come true that he's the guy turning around this franchise.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that it was, and this is no knock on Gerard Mayo and the way things went, but I think when he was available a season ago, there were a lot of people going, wait a minute. He went to Ohio State, he worked there, he went down to the Texans, he worked in Tennessee, he was a head coach, he had success there. He's available and he's not our next head coach. So, I think this is a little bit of like, okay, yeah, here. This is where we expected to be. And this is where, this is Mike Vrabel's team. And I say this about the Detroit Lions all the time, right? Like, that is Dan Campbell's team. If you want to sit there and tell me that a team embodies a head coach, I will say Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. But I'll tell you this, Travis. I think soon enough, you're going to be saying Mike Vrabel, New England Patriots, because I think they're of the same ilk, and their team is going to take on their personality. And there's no question that he wants a team that is going to have the effort, that is going to have the finish, that is going to have the toughness. And he's willing to say, this is who I am, and this is who I want my team to be. Let's go.
May the show say amen. Now, Vrabel mentioned there how Drake Maye had that ugly turnover late in this game. We did later see Drake Maye recover, bounce back, run for a touchdown. I was glad to see him using his legs. Let's hear from Drake Maye here on that turnover, and then you and I, Jade, will react on the other side. Here's Drake Maye on that ugly fumble in this game.
I was excited to get out there, and Trayveon takes it the 100 yards. It was pretty sweet, but you got a little bit of drive going, third down, and just can't do that. My first time out, just definitely put a damper. I'm glad we responded well that next drive, but same time I'm glad it's something that I can control, but at the end of the day, you just can't put the defense in that position, when games matter and during the season, and I told those guys it's on me. We got to get back out there, and glad I was able to get another series going.
Hey, Drake, imagine, especially as quarterback, one of the top priorities in the preseason is avoiding big contact and staying in good condition. But when it comes to using your legs, how much is the balance of, well, I don't want to take off, run, get too much contact versus, well, if they're going to give me all that green grass, I got to take it.
I think, when they play man or they're, down in the red zone and sitting back in zone and, playing too high, I got to, play football. That's, my natural instinct. Obviously wish you could have, hit some more passes, but at the same time, I thought we were running the ball well all night, and there's an even balance of, them accounting for, me being able to run a little bit. And I thought I got down and on the first third down scramble, and then in the red zone, like I said, I'm going to go out there and play football.
Drake, you mentioned it a little bit, but just take us through your reaction to seeing Trayveon Henderson on that first play, just take it 100 yards on that kickoff return.
Yeah, I think it's different with the kickoff rule now. You think, teams are going to want to, tackle and not get 35-yard line, so it's going to be a chance for some returns. And, man, it's like a lightning bolt. He was, I saw the crease and, knew he was gone. So, pretty cool. The first time he touched football, it's a touchdown. And then, credit to the guys that did the blocking up front. That's, special teams, and all three phases. I think special teams got a chance to be big for us this year.
Hey, Drake, just going back to the end of the first drive, plays like that where you're trying to extend, do you feel like that's more just instinct, like you were talking about reflex, or is there kind of a deliberate thought on that play of what you were trying to do?
No, yeah, it's instinct. It's just the first time I got hit since back in the last week 17. So it's instinctive, and I'm gonna try to do my best and not get hit. But I'm gonna do my part of standing there and delivering throws, and know it's gonna happen. But I think it's instinctive, just playing football, and obviously trying to get the ball in the other guy's hands because they're better runners than I am. But just keeping defense honest.
Jade, I don't know about you, but I am excited to see Drake Maye run by design a little bit more this season, because in his rookie season, Jade, all I saw was Drake Maye run for his bleeping life, because this offensive line was the worst ever of all time in the history of football.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any doubt. Look, the best friends of a young quarterback, great offensive line, good run game. Okay? Like, you got those two things, and your young quarterback is in a much better position. And look, I mean, we heard Vrabel say it, right? Like, he can't do that when it comes to the fumble. We all know he can't do that. Drake Maye knows he can't do that. And it's like removing the instinct from it and just putting in your head over and over and over again, live for another down, take the sack, take the sack, take the sack. Better to do that than turn over the football every single time, right? Like, I mean, we've seen it time and time again with young quarterbacks. They just try to do too much. Heck, I mean, we've seen Josh Allen do it, not because he's trying to avoid a sack, but because he's throwing his body around. And it's like, just go down, like slide, dude. Sometimes that's the best move to make, because you're better off going, okay, maybe it's 3rd and long, maybe it's 2nd and 5, whatever it is, just maintain possession of the football.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, hey, if you're keeping score at home like I am, Jade said the best friends of a young quarterback is his offensive line, his run game. I would like to add a head coach that can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. I would also like to say a great defense. Check across the board for the Patriots. The only one missing are great weapons, and that'll come with time, Jade. That'll come with time. All right, so speaking of the offensive line, we did hear from Will Campbell, who, Jade, last seen pancaking, bullying, throwing guys around in his rookie debut. Let's hear it from Will Campbell now, left tackle, your starting left tackle for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, honestly, after you do it, you just kind of got to get up, put it behind you, and go to the next play. It's kind of like that, leave it all behind. It can be a good play for, if you have 60 plays in the game, 59 of them can be good. One bad one can, ruin the night. So, it's really nothing. You don't get too high, don't get too low. You just try to, put your best foot forward each and every play.
Okay, now, Jade, I want to get to Trayveon Henderson. So I'm telling you right now, you and I are getting to know each other. I don't spend a lot of time on offensive line talk. That's not what I do. But I tell you what I saw. I tell you what I saw for a first-round pick, number 4 overall. This kid can play, Jade.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he can play. And I think the best thing about it is he did make that mistake. It resulted in the fumble, and he didn't let it get to him, right? I mean, and that's a big part of it. It's like you're in there, you're a rookie, you're gonna make mistakes. There's no question about it. But, are you of the growth mindset, to use a buzzword in recent years, Travis? And look, I mean, I think we've heard people talk about that when it comes to him, right? Like Keon White, who's gone up against him during camp most of the time, is like, look, like he's the kind of guy that he's like, all right, what do I do different? How do I get better? And he doesn't hang his head when he makes a mistake. He goes out there and he's willing to pancake it again, like you said, play a little nasty, get into it again. And that's what they need. And look, I mean, Travis, we talked about the fact that an offensive line is a best friend of a young quarterback. We could have 2 rookies on this offensive line, and Campbell and then Jared Wilson, right?
That's right.
That hasn't happened very often. I mean, I was looking it up, and Mike Reese wrote about it, and he was like, "Look, we've seen this happen once in 25 years. It was with the Ravens back in 2016. So this could be not uncharted territory, but not exactly a frequent occurrence when it comes to the offensive line. But I think what you love about it is these 2 guys, they've bonded over this, right? Like it's unifying them. And I think that's a huge positive for the 2 of them on the line and really just this Patriots rookie class.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's keep the rookie party going because this is like Fisher-Price, my favorite rookie. My favorite is Trayveon Henderson, who started the game with a bang right out of the gate. You only get once for a first impression. Boy, did he make it. Here's Trayveon Henderson after his huge kickoff return to start this game. First time touching the ball in the NFL. Take a listen.
Shoot, I was surprised myself, but, I give all thanks to God. I can't do what I do on the field without him. He's my strength when I go out there. And I give thanks to my teammates, the guys up front. They did a good job of blocking things up front and clearing the path for me.
Trayveon, for someone getting into their first live game action in the NFL, years going through high school, college, always dream of that first moment in the NFL. What was it like finally getting to touch the ball and then having a moment like that?
Yeah. Like I said, man, I just thank God because this is something, since I was a little kid, something I've been dreaming about, to be in this position, to be given this opportunity. And so I'm thankful. I'm just trying my best to take advantage of every opportunity I get. And so, but, man, it's amazing, man, to be here, to be at an organization like this, such as the Patriots. And so, yeah, I'm excited, to continue to go forward, with the season.
What's going through your mind when that run is starting? And at what point do you realize I have an opportunity to take this to the house?
Shoot. Honestly, before, it's a lot of nerves. And so I try to take the time before the game, to just pray and cast my worries, give it to God and just, ask that he just may have his way, whatever he wants, however it goes, that I may just come out thankful no matter what. And so, but when I got the ball, yeah, honestly, like I said, I wasn't even expecting that. And then when I saw the crease, it was on from there. And so, yeah.
Trayveon, many young players have their ups and their downs in camp when they come into the NFL. I heard you describe tonight as someone who was the same player every day at practice. That suggests consistency. How does a young player like yourself manage consistency in this level every day?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that helped me is, my purpose and the reason why I play this game. God calls me to work as heartily as for him and not to please men. And so I just try to come in with that mindset. Being in the NFL, being a young guy, second-round draft pick, it's a lot of pressure, and sometimes it's hard, with all that pressure being on you. But, the biggest thing is just I try to keep my eyes on the Lord. I know no matter what happens, I can come out here and give it everything that I got. And whether I have a good practice, bad practice, good game, bad game, I know God loves me and he's always here with me. And so that just motivates me to just keep going every day. You know, I have my ups and downs as well. You know, some practices are good, some practices are bad, but I just try to keep learning and getting better.
Jade, I need a team full of Trayveon Hendersons because they need playmakers.
No doubt.
That's exactly that's what this kid is. It's not even necessarily that I want him to get carries. I want him to get touches now. I want you to throw him the ball. We saw him catch the ball in that game. Obviously carries, returns. Get the ball in his hands, Jade, and good things happen, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, first of all, just his approach to practice and that consistency and recognizing that this is all about effort, right? This is about what I put forth day in and day out. And some days it might be a good day and some days it might not. But I'm going to continually put that same effort forward. And then I'll go back to what Elliott Wolf said after they drafted him. He said he's a threat with the ball in his hands, with the speed to take it the distance anytime he touches the ball. He just showed us that on the field the very first time he touched the ball, Travis. So, get the ball in his hands and let's just see where he goes with it because good things can happen.
That's it. All right, Jade and I give you our thoughts on the GOAT statue next here on Foxborough Rush. And we'll hear from TB12 himself coming up next, right here on Foxborough Rush. Roll with us. All right, welcome back into Foxborough Rush. Jade, I told you this to start the show. It was Tom Brady Day here in New England. I saw so many jerseys. Poor little dog. It was so hot out. He's got a Tom Brady jersey on.
I can't believe the dog had on the jersey. I mean, I can, but
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I wanted to say something. I did. I wanted to say something like, isn't it a little too hot for this? But I'm sure I would have got cussed out because they would have said, how dare you? It's Tom Brady Day. All right, fair enough. But before we hear from Robert Kraft and Tom himself, I have to ask you, I mean, if we're going 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what did you think of the statue? Because I'll give him an 8, and here's why. I thought the statue was kind of safe. Like, I get it. They just went a very generic statue, and I appreciate that because of what we've seen from Ronaldo and Dwayne Wade. Like, there are statues, Jade, that should have never been greenlit, okay? And they were greenlit. Yep. They didn't mess up the GOAT. I appreciated that. I'm going 8 out of 10. What say you?
Yeah, I feel like safe was the right way to go. I mean, we could see it right here, the big unveiling. Fist pumped up in the air. I don't know. I mean, maybe like a little bit of a fist pump the other way. I feel like I saw Brady do that more on the field. The let's go, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was safe. I think it fits. It fits the scene, right? I mean, this is Foxborough, Massachusetts. Like, it's Brady. He's tried, true. Like, it kind of had to fit who he was, I think, for the New England Patriots. So I get it. I get it, 100%.
We see Bob Kraft there hugging the GOAT. Let's hear from Robert Kraft on this giant statue of Tom Brady that you see every time you show up to Gillette.
Wow. I hope this is a predictor of the upcoming season, this kind of support. So I want to thank you all for being here this evening as we honor and immortalize the legendary career of a sports icon, the greatest NFL player of all time, Tom Brady. You know, there's a saying, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And for 2 decades, Tom Brady made Patriots feel invincible. His story wasn't scripted, it was earned. Every yard, every fourth quarter comeback, every win. Tom was the 199th draft pick who not only transformed himself into the greatest quarterback the league has ever seen, but he also helped transform the Patriots into a 20-year dynasty. He demanded excellence of himself and made everyone around him better. Tom wasn't just the face of our franchise. He was the true heartbeat. It's hard to overstate what Tom accomplished. He just didn't rewrite the record books. He practically authored a new volume. Since Tom's departure, we've been reminded just how difficult it is to win consistently in the NFL. But during his time here, winning didn't just become the expectation, it became the norm. In 18 seasons as a starter in New England, he led the Patriots to 17 playoff appearances, all as AFC East Division champions. 13 trips to the AFC Championship game, 9 AFC conference titles, and of course, 6 Super Bowl championships. Dominance like that isn't just rare, it's unprecedented. Tom orchestrated 4 of the longest winning streaks in NFL history, including 10 straight playoff wins and 3 separate 21-game win streaks. His fierce competitiveness and relentless drive led to a legacy that cemented the Patriots as the greatest dynasty in football history. And yet, stats only tell part of the story. Who could forget the snowy night in Foxborough against the Raiders? The last game ever played in the old stadium, or the near impossible 28-3 comeback against the Falcons in Super Bowl 51. These weren't miracles, they were just chapters in the epic career of Tom Brady. His passing precision led us to victories, but his heart and competitive drive and refusal to quit, that gave us a legacy.
You know, Jade, I have to give Robert his props because even though he picked wrong in the divorce, since the divorce, he has been loving up and so kind to Tom, and he has taken shots at Bill every chance he gets. So good for Robert Kraft, Jade.
Yeah, there was a little dig in there for sure. Yeah. But look, I mean, you know, Brady deserves all the accolades that he gets for what he did. And I think Brady will also be the first one to tell you that Bill Belichick was part of that. You know, like the two of them together, you just don't get quarterbacks and head coaches that merge with that type of success all that frequently in any sport, certainly in the NFL. And really, I know everyone in New England is like, ugh, with the Chiefs. But the reality is that we're watching it again with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So as football fans, maybe not Patriots fans, but as football fans, we have to be appreciative of it.
Amen. Now, as far as Tom, we saw a lighter, jovial Tom Brady for his statue speech. Let's take a look at that.
What's happening, Foxborough? This is quite overwhelming, obviously, and I just thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. Thank you. As RKK just said it perfectly, people will never forget how you made them feel. Right now, I feel extremely honored, deeply grateful, and if I'm being honest, kind of old. I'm also a little surprised because usually they don't build statues until you're really old, like Vrabel and Brewski. It's not every day you get a statue, at least not one like this. Seeing myself as a statue isn't something I could have imagined growing up. When I was drafted, I just hoped to make the team. I never dreamed I'd be standing here 2.5 decades later, made of bronze and frozen in time. It actually feels pretty appropriate given my 40-yard dash time. In all seriousness, this is an incredible honor. I'm humbled to be here today with so many people who helped make this possible. And also, today is the first time in my life that Boston sports writers will describe me as chiseled. So that's a major, major win. To the Kraft family, I can't say thank you enough for believing in me from the very beginning. You didn't just give me a place to play football, you gave me a home, a second family in the highest possible standards of excellence. Everything we accomplished here started with your leadership, with your commitment to doing things the right way. I love you. To my teammates, every guy I shared the locker room with, every man who put in the work and the time and the sacrifice, thank you. We took the field expecting to win, and when we did, we celebrated as a team always. To my coaches, thank you for pushing me every single day by always demanding the best. You helped me become the person and player that I am today. To my family, my kids, my parents, my sisters, all my friends who traveled long distances to be here, I wouldn't be here without you all. Although I'm sure most of them are mumbling under their breaths right now, yeah, we love you, but a statue? Really? And to Patriots Nation, that's you guys. I can't put into words how much your support and your love meant to me. You showed up in the rain, in the snow, in 0-degree temperatures. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. You guys showed up in these 0-degree temperatures, and you earned every single one of these banners that fly above this stadium forever. But in the end, this statue isn't just for Pats fans. It'll also give all the Jets fans something to throw their beers at as they leave the stadium every year. Probably in the second quarter. Maybe the third. As for the statue itself, Jeff, you and your team did an incredible job. Seriously, it is so accurate, so detailed. Hold on one sec. Hello? Really? Okay. Sorry, Jeff, that was Coach Belichick. He said there's still room for improvement. I know the feeling. Look, I know what this statue represents. It's not about one guy. It never is. It never has been. And in football, it never will be. It's about a team and a commitment to being great together. I'm proud to know that fans can show up at this stadium and feel as inspired as I always did playing here. To think that a kid from California might someday travel here to this plaza, stop, gaze at this work of art and say, who the hell is that guy? I've said this before, but I want to say it again. I'm humbled and honored to have been part of this organization for 20 incredible years. You guys shaped my life and the life of my family, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I hope I've given to you as much as you have given to me. Thank you, New England. I love you. And let's get ready to kick off the 2025 NFL season. Let's go!
Jade, I don't know about you, but I feel like Tom had some jokes from the roast that he didn't get off his chest. He wanted to let fly there. I like this lighter, friendlier, less stressed out, funnier version of Tom Brady. I think both him and Bill Belichick are just so loose now, but I prefer Tom's looseness to Bill's creepy age gap looseness. You understand what I mean? Like, I like what Tom's doing. Bill creeps me out. Tom's winning that divorce still, Jade.
I'll concur on that one, Travis. Look, I mean, I do think that the best part of both of them being in a different space than they were is that for us, we get to see a little bit of what all the guys who played with them and played for Bill saw in all those years. Like, this was not as much as everyone wants to be like, oh, there was no fun had there. No, I mean, they worked hard for sure, but come on, like, humor's got to be part of the equation. And you talk to anybody close to football and you hear that they're two of the most competitive guys out there, but they're also like two of the guys will be first to come alongside you and be like, let me tell you this, or how about this, and just play into how they can make you better. And it's different for every person because they're really good at reading that and figuring it out. It's a gift that they both have.
Amen. All right, it's fantasy football draft season, so you know what this means, right? Jade and I are going to help your raggedy team. We'll get you ready for draft day next. Sweet, sweet fantasy, baby, here on Foxborough Rush. Roll with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back in, Foxborough Rush, Travis and Jade getting you set for, the fantasy draft. It's coming. It's coming fast. These are the questions that I always get from my kiddo, right? And I, I have two boys that always have to play. Look, when it comes to quarterbacks, you got Lamar, you got Josh, and then you kind of got everybody else. I mean, that's sort of the reality, Travis. I know you got Caleb Williams in your keeper league. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do. Hey, here's the good news, right? You got a new head coach there. I mean, that could help you out a little bit. But if you don't get one of those two guys, there's still plenty of depth at quarterback. I mean, you could go with Bo Nix in Denver, and he might have a great year.
It's a good point. Listen, first of all, I'm so glad you lumped me in with your sons who play this stuff because I'm on the same maturity level as them. So you'll understand where I'm coming from this entire segment. Listen, like, even you bringing up Caleb Williams being on my team, because you're right, it's a keeper league. I kept Caleb because I thought he ended the season pretty good. We all knew he had a moron as a head coach. So I thought, you know what, let me hang on to him, see if he gets like a decent coach. Sure enough, he got Ben Johnson, the best young mind in the league, at least outside of Sean McVay.
There could be huge upside for Caleb this year.
There could be. But with that being said, Jade, even though I don't smoke, I think I'm going to smoke a pack of Newports a day with all the reports coming out of how bad Caleb Williams has been this summer. Now, my starter last year was actually Jared Goff. And it brings me to this point because I'm looking at these ratings.
You just really like Ben Johnson.
Well, true. But you also mentioned Lamar Jackson. You mentioned Josh Allen. They're at the top of the heap. After them, in terms of fantasy rankings for quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. These are all stars. Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned Bo Nix. He is in the top 10, Jade. So you're not far off there. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy. Those are the top 10 fantasy quarterbacks. But as someone who had Jared Goff last year, who I got late in the draft, I mean, for years, you can get Jared Goff's when he was playing well, Kirk Cousins, guys like that, even Kyler Murray, who's top 10 here, Bo Nix, who you mentioned, Baker Mayfield. These are all top 10 quarterbacks, Jade. You can get them late in drafts. Your top dogs, you do have to spend a high draft pick on. Or if you're in a keeper league, more than likely, they're not even available.
They're gone.
They're gone. But you can get good value late. A Brock Purdy, for example, he's not gonna go early in your draft. So you can, I don't want to make this sound like bargain basement shopping, but you can get pretty good value later in your draft, and then you can fill out your roster with other positions that are harder to find, Jade. Running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. you could get your quarterback late. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think part of it's personal draft strategy. It's deciding what pick do you fall in the draft, and what do you want to do with it based upon that, right? Like who's on the board when it comes to you. All the things that teams have to do when they do their draft. You should be doing for your own fantasy draft to get ready. But look, I mean, the reality is like if you get a Lamar, if you get a Josh, I mean, like Joe Burrow, his numbers, like what did he lead the league in like everything last season?
Yes. He's insane. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and, obviously Josh is the reigning MVP. So, I mean, these guys are all going to go and they're going to go high. And if that's your strategy, that's great. Barring injury, you basically know that you're going to get a solid showing from them week in and week out. But look, I mean, I think Bo Nix could put up really good numbers. He put up good numbers last year. Like every week it was, like what, 20, 25, 28, like he put up good numbers. So I think you can expect the same from him, maybe even more so this year. And you talk about like Jalen Hurts, obviously his run game, what he does there, Jaden Daniels, same thing. There's a lot of different directions you can go with quarterback in the draft.
I think that's well said. To Bo Nix's credit, as you mentioned, I mean, he has Sean Payton, for God's sakes. That system is always favorable to a quarterback. And they got him improved weapons as well out there in Denver. So I'm with you on Bo Nix. Here's two sleepers, okay, before we get out of here. I like Drake Maye. Now, you look at most metrics for this stuff. Drake Maye's top 15-ish, okay? So Drake Maye is a guy, especially you and I talked about this earlier in the show, I'm anticipating in a Josh McDaniels offense that we could see a dual threat Drake Maye, which is exactly who he is. That's who he was at UNC. That's who he's been his whole life. He's able to beat you with his legs or his arm. So keep your eye on Drake Maye in fantasy. That's someone you can get late. Here's another one right in the division. I actually think Justin Fields is going to have a really good season, barring injury, of course. But that's a guy who can run, who can throw in a new system, change of scenery. I don't know if he's going to win any games. He's still with the Jets. Let me slow down. But in terms of...
I was going to say.
But like
until the Jets fans start throwing beers at Brady's statue, like he said there?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, look, we know what it is. Jets, Jets suck in reality. That's true. But in fantasy... I think that's how that goes, Jade. But in fantasy, Justin Fields could be good. When we come back here on Foxborough, different ballgame. When we come back here on Foxborough Rush, we'll hear from you in our mailbag. Look at all these messages. Stay with us right here on Foxborough Rush. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush, a show for the people, by the people. And now we hear from you in our mailbag. All right, Jade, here we go.
Bring it home, Travis. Bring it home.
Paul in Las Vegas. This is on the Patriots trading for Micah Parsons or Terry McLaurin, although I'd like to say and. I want them both, but whatever. He said, don't mortgage the future for either guy. Neither player is enough to send us to the Super Bowl. Keep building through the draft and free agents next season. Okay, this is interesting because this is sort of a philosophical view on this. I couldn't disagree more with you, Paul, in Las Vegas. Like, I love gambling, assuming you're in Vegas, so I'm with you there. But I actually think a Micah Parsons on this defense. Now, let's have a conversation about, you said giving up the future, right? Don't mortgage the future. I don't know what you'd have to give up other than draft picks to get him. But if I didn't have to give up a bunch of players on defense, I think a Micah Parsons, drop him into this defense, which we already know is going to be good. A Micah could make it special. Why not? And then Terry McLaurin, same thing. If I don't have to give up too much, Jade, you put him in this, all of a sudden I like Terry and Steph Diggs more than I like just Steph Diggs and Pop Douglas or whoever's. I think they both could get you over the hump.
So let's start with Micah.
Okay.
There's no way the Cowboys are going to trade him. It's just not going to happen. Like, you don't trade 26-year-old guys who are in the same sentence as Reggie White. Come on. It just doesn't happen. Point. And by the way, if if in their crazy minds they ever would trade him, which they won't, there's 31 teams that would love to have Micah Parsons and give up the draft capital, which would be a lot, that they would have to give up in order to have them. So, yes, sign the Patriots up. You can make them one of 31 teams that would say, come on, Micah, come on over. Look, I mean, McLaurin, again, I don't think if you're Washington, you want to give him up. Jaden Daniels, it was like Daniels to Scary Terry, Jaden to Scary Terry last season. They made it to the NFC Championship game. He's a great leader, a great player. He's shown he can play with any quarterback for the Washington Commanders. So I think they'd be nuts to give him up. If they're willing to, if I'm Elliot Wolf, yeah, sure, I'm on the phone. Let's go. Josh Harris, you want to talk? Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Jade, I'm greedy. I'm telling you right now, they have all the cap space in the league, all the money in the world. Get them both. What's the problem? Mortgage the future for both of them and pay all the damn money. And then now you're really cooking with gas. Hey, for our first show together, this was absolutely stellar. It is so good to have you back in the Nesson family now. Jade, it was an absolute pleasure. Please, shout outs to Gordy, hubby of the year. Give him my love. I love this guy. Thank you to Gordy. Thank you to Jade. And thank you to all of you for rolling with us right here on Foxborough Rush. Till next time when we see you and we ask you, set, ready, hut, hut, hut. We'll see you then. Peace.
Cooking with gas.